You are enough. And you are doing enough. I'm just so frustrated at this hustle culture because we're constantly being made to feel like we are not doing enough. But you are. You are exactly where you need to be, okay? This morning when I was journaling, which I highly recommend, I was like, man, why am I so anxious right now? And I realized it's because I'm listening to these thoughts that are wrong, that you're not spending enough time with your child, you're not doing enough at work, you're not doing enough for your music career, you need to do more. Of course I'm going to be anxious. So I just had this moment where I went, okay, chill, you are enough and you're doing enough. So I challenge you today to open up those thoughts, open up that can of worms, so that you can let the wrong thoughts go and let the right thoughts in and wash over you. You are enough. You are doing enough. And if you need to take a day off, take a day off. Don't let this world tell you that you are not enough or that you are not doing enough. I'm just so over the striving and the hustle culture. Okay? Take care of yourself. I love you people.
Hello everyone, this is Emmanuel Cook. We will be reacting to a new video today, so make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let's get into the video.
I used to wake up to urgency, a to-do list, alarms, notifications, all before I even got out of bed. But I don't do that anymore. Every day, I allow myself to wake up slowly. No rush, no pressure, no urgency, just presence. Deconditioning from this hustle culture, from the pressure of life is hard. Deconditioning from what society expects from us is hard. I really had to take the time to unlearn these societal conditions that we need to rush into our day. And mostly because that just isn't how my body works. It isn't how my body functions. And at the end of the day, my productivity does not make me more valuable. I am inherently valuable no matter how productive I am. So this comment actually inspired me to talk about this because there's so much conditioning in our society. Of course, this person is like, how do you even wake up in the morning without stimulants, without things to help you? And the reality is you can have a slow morning. Now, all of my mornings start with sunlight. 5 minutes of direct sunlight in the eyes. It helps to regulate my circadian rhythm, but most importantly, it reminds me that I am part of nature and we are part of nature, and does nature rush to do anything? No. So every morning I still have a routine, right? I take my supplements, but not out of obligation of taking them, but out of this deep, deep care for myself and my body. But I still never rush through this part of my day. Some days I don't need the same supplements as other days. And so it's really important for me to tune into what my body needs on this day. Most mornings I do breath work. And since I like to stack habits and make things efficient, I usually sit in front of my red light while I do breath work. But some mornings I just exist. I don't force anything. I maybe have a glass of water and walk around my house aimlessly for hours. I don't have a job right now, but even when I did, I gave myself this space. I had the luxury of working remote, and so I had time to get ready. And the reality is if I ever have a real corporate job again, this will remain. I will keep my slow mornings. I will keep this time for myself because I am so important to myself that I will give that to me. We're so conditioned to believe that mornings should be rushed, that there's somewhere to go, there's somewhere to be, and everything has to be done right now. Okay, and I'm here to tell you, I'm here to give you permission. Anybody who approaches you with urgency, simply respond to them as slowly as you can. Because I'm not gonna be pushing through anymore. I'm not gonna be performing. I'm not gonna be pretending like I can do something when I can't. I refuse to let my nervous system get stuck in fight or flight from the moment I wake up. I choose slow, I choose peace, and I choose me.
Alignment is the new hustle culture. I heard this in my Pilates class this morning on Obey Fitness. The instructor was Marsha. Side note, if you have the pleasure of taking a Pilates class from Marsha, I highly recommend it. When she said this, alignment is the new hustle culture, that immediately became my mantra for the rest of my life. To me, hustle culture represents constant stress, intensity, aggravation, bro-y vibes, which I'm trying to rid myself of any of that. From here on out, we are acting from alignment. We are performing aligned actions. Everything has a purpose. Everything comes with this peace of mind and calmness. Alignment is the new hustle culture. I'm gonna need to get that tattooed on my face.
A friend of mine put up a post that said, the more I heal, the less ambitious I am. And it reminded me of something that Booker T. Washington said in his book, Up From Slavery. He said when he was an enslaved boy that he wasn't allowed to have gingerbread cookies, and he watched the white girls eat gingerbread cookies. And he said to himself, if I ever get free, I'm going to eat some gingerbread cookies, and that's how I'm going to know I'm free. A lot of our ambitions are directly related to our traumas. You want things and status because of the way you got teased when you were young. You want things and status because of the lack that you think you have when you compare yourself to others. You want things and status because you need something outside of yourself to give you an identity. But when you start to heal, when you start to love yourself and really know who you are and tap into purpose, a lot of those things don't mean anything anymore. So I ask you this question. Why do you want the things that you want?
In my opinion, the 4-day work week is actually like the most practical solution to like the problems that the economy is facing right now. I know the economy is like such a generalization. I don't work in economics, and I'm talking specifically about like workers and employers. You know what I mean? If you're gonna go in the comments and try to gotcha me, don't even bother, because I know that I don't know anything. You know? But workers right now are like, we are sick of working. We're burnt out. Our mental health is at an all-time low. We're being underpaid and overworked in pretty much every industry you could possibly imagine, from like the restaurant industry to healthcare. And employers on all fronts have been complaining for years now that nobody wants to work anymore. Nobody wants to work anymore because it fucking sucks. Maybe a 4-day work week would incentivize people to want to work for your company. Specifically like office jobs, admin jobs, like vague marketing jobs. When you're sitting in an office, or at home for that matter, like when you're on the clock, you're like squandering away at least a couple hours every day doing nothing. If you could just account for that wasted time and give people an extra day off, you would be achieving the same amount of output with your employees in 4 days instead of 5 days. You can still afford to pay them the same amount. I hate it when people think that they're like, the only way to do a 4-day work week is to get paid less. No.
I have tips and tricks for the anti-hustle business owner. My For You page has been filled with photographers since we're in our busy season right now, of just how many sessions they have, how much editing they have to do, how far behind they are, and very much so how tired they are and how their mental health is just not doing great. Well, I have some tips in how to prevent the burnout when we are in these busy periods. Tip number 1, if it does not serve your heart at max capacity, the answer is no. Don't do it. Don't take it on. Tip number 2, which is actually piggybacking off of tip number 1. If it is not a full body yes, it is a hell no. If you're reserved, unsure, not inspired by it, just don't do it. Refer them out to another photographer. Tip number 3, set up those email office hours. Set the expectation for your couple, current and potential, and let them know when they can hear from you. Tip number 4, baby, put on that do not disturb. It is a lifesaver. Do not disturb.
I'm a content creator, and I absolutely hate the hustle of that whole stigma. I can't stand it. I can't stand hustle. I can't stand speed all the time. I just can't do it. I want to live a life where everything comes with a flow, and it comes easy, and it comes naturally and calm and relaxing. Like, having to hustle is terrible. I hate the feeling, I hate the mindset, I hate everything about it. So when they all were like, it's the hustle culture, no. If it's meant for me, it will come to me. I won't have to hustle for nothing.
I'd rather do my taxes in crayon than to ever be broke ever again. So we're going to talk a little bit about this anti-hustle culture bullshit. Ever since 2017, the anti-hustle thing has been lighting up my newsfeed. And let me tell you what, it's a lie. Because I've never, and many people I know who are very successful, have never gotten to any level of success without a little hustle. I've been hustling since I was 14. If you have energy and you have youth, it doesn't matter the number, then you should be hustling. There's no excuse. Unless you're sick, unless there's something wrong, you should hustle. Because you have it in you. And this is the time in your life to do so. If you wait to hustle or not hustle at all in your 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s, then you're going to have to hustle or struggle in your 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. So this whole like 1 post a day, 5-hour work week post, and I only work a couple hours a day. I'm sorry, but I'm going to tell you right now, I did not make multiple millions of dollars over the last few years by working a couple hours a day, by working 1 hour a day, by working the 5-hour, 10-hour work week. There are seasons for hustle and there's seasons for not hustle. But if you are in the season of hustle, let me remind you, you have one chance. You have one season of hustle. You have one time in your life to make it happen. So what can you sacrifice? What can you give up to make that dream a reality? We need to start talking a little bit about sacrifices in time management. I know it's painful, but honey, is Netflix paying your bills? No. Is scrolling and doom scrolling on your phone paying your bills? No. Is posting without any game plan paying your bills? No. Lack of time management paying your bills? No. Hanging out with soul-sucking friends, is that paying your bills? Hanging out with negative friends who don't support you or lift you up or help you become a better person, is that paying your bills? No. Do you see what I'm getting at here? You're going to need to protect your space if you want to be successful. You're going to need to protect your circle of influence if you want to be successful. You're going to need to start saying no to some things if you want to be successful. You may not be the most popular queen on your block if you want to be successful. You may not have as many friends this year if you want to be successful. You may not have as many dinner dates and friends out or time out with friends and social time if you want to truly be successful. There are sacrifices that have to be made in this season. I'm not telling you to light a fire on your entire social life, but I'm telling you it's time to become a little bit more selective, a lot more selective, and it's time to truly protect who you let into your circle. I have had to remove certain people and certain circumstances and certain expectations and certain responsibilities in my life that I signed up for that are not serving my goals. It was hard. It sucked, but it needed to be done because this is the season where I hustle, because I plan on retiring in my 40s. And that's right around the corner. Shit. What does this look like? Well, you need to start time managing. You need to start block scheduling. You need to start staring at that clock. Every minute counts. And I'm telling you, every minute counts. If you're going to give yourself time to scroll and doom scroll, set a timer for 10 to 15 minutes. If you are going to watch TV, you have to be committed to only watching a certain amount of TV. If you are going to go out with friends, maybe not drink till 3 a.m, or only show up for a little bit, or don't go at all. And go maybe later when finances are a little bit better or life is starting to shape up a little bit better for you. For me, at this stage in my life, I'm still building my wealth, my dreams. I have 2 kids, a husband. I don't have time to have a bunch of friends on my block. I don't have time for a lot of things. I've had to remove a lot of things so that I can protect my energy and stay focused and committed like an athlete to my family. So if I have free time, it goes to my kids and my husband and my family. And then the rest, I am working on me. I'm working on my business. I'm working on my finances, and back to working on me. Yes, sacrifices are hard, and maybe you've already scrolled away and I've lost you, but if you're still here, listen to this. What is going to be your hard? Which hard are you going to choose? The hard of being broke or stuck, or the hard of making these sacrifices and getting your freaking hustle on? It's time to fucking hustle. It's time to get to work. And it's time to realize that you're not going to get there by luck. The universe isn't going to drop success into your lap. You're not winning the lottery. Mom and dad aren't going to go taking care of you. You don't have a backup plan. There is no plan B. There's only I'm going to succeed and I'm going to get it done. That's what you have to do. You have to go into the next year, 2025, with it's time to get this shit done. It's time to hustle. It's time to sacrifice. And then let your friends and all your other, expectations of you around everywhere, let them know you'll be back around when you've got your shit together. All right, pep talk over. Let's get it going and follow for more if you like content like this.
How much time and energy do you spend with people and doing things that have nothing to do with your goals? It's just a question. If you want to achieve your goals, you have to put in the hustle. You have to put in the work. You have to hustle. There is literally no way around it. You don't have to hustle for a very long time. You really don't. The whole point is to work hard and get to a point where you don't have to work as hard. You work hard now, you do what you have to do, and you get to a point where you don't have to hustle as hard and have a soft life. That is the point of hustling. But you do have to hustle. You do have to put in the work. You have to do extra work. That, you cannot get around that. And if you don't put in the work, you won't reach your goals. So let me ask the question again. How much time do you spend with people doing things that have nothing to do with your goals? If you say that you want X, but spend less time doing X, then it's like, do you really want it? Or are you just saying that?
Urban Dictionary defines the word hustle by saying it is often to seek out and acquire large sums of money, often through unscrupulous means. So basically, people who hustle are inherently dishonest. I'm going by Urban Dictionary here. So hustle culture in and of itself inherently has this connotation of being dishonest, doing whatever it is you have to do to acquire these large sums of money by being dishonest. The piece that doesn't quite sit well with me is this idea that it's based on having more in order to be happier. As we know, it's been scientifically proven that there is a certain threshold of money or material wealth that can contribute to joy and happiness, safety and security, but past that, it really doesn't have much bearing at all. So basically, when we slow down and aren't being pulled in 1,000,001 directions, we're able to actually focus our attention on the things that do matter, on the things that do bring us joy, on the things that do bring us connection, on the things that do bring us fulfillment, right? So when we're able to do that, not only are we living a more fulfilled life, a happier life, we're also able to breathe a little bit easier. We're a little bit more clear on what our purpose is, and we've leveled up in life in that way.
On Friday, I got back from a trip to Mexico, and it opened up my eyes on so many things. And that's partly because I started reading a book, and this book is called She Built. I believe it's Jade Soner, something like that. Message me if you want the name of it. But she talks about an anti-hustle culture. She explains how the hustle culture of doing everything you have to do for your business, going to sleep late, waking up early, spending all your free time living and breathing for your business. That's what you need to do for your business to succeed. So she goes on to say, yeah, right. That's written by a man for a man. There's no way that that works for women in this society. Of course, I'm gobbling everything up because I'm married. I have 3 little ones. I'm busy, and I need my sleep. I'm not gonna go to sleep past 10 o'clock. I gotta wake up at 6. I wanna wake up earlier, and I will. But I am not the woman or the mom or the wife who's gonna survive off 4 hours of sleep. Like, that's not gonna be me ever, I don't think.
I came across this incredibly powerful message yesterday, and I just had to share it. Basically, the idea is that hustle culture is completely on the downswing. It is a fad that is going to completely collapse and be outdated shortly, if not already. And I think it was really powerful for a couple of reasons. First of all, that's just an interesting trend. If that is what is happening in the culture and I just kind of missed it, if that's really what's going down, that's kind of crazy. But 2, it's what it really means. And I think what it really means is that hustle culture is dying because it is a bad message. It is like a market idea that is no longer valid. If it is not efficient, if it is not good enough, like any business product, it will fail eventually and be replaced by something better. The reason why it's not a great idea to equate hustle and hustle culture and doing more with success is because energy and effort does not necessarily equal results. And that creates burnout, which I know is a huge problem in society. That part I get. Instead, the AI in the video was explaining to the person that what really matters is being aligned, being in flow. That doesn't mean not taking action. It means when you're taking action towards something that you feel that there's no resistance towards, that you don't feel like you're hustling because you're actually doing the things deep down you know are moving the ball further. Those things that quote unquote don't feel like work, those things are what create success in the long run. But here's the key. It's a long game to A, realize this, and B, play this out. And I think the missing piece away from hustle culture, I think it's patience. I think people have a real hard time with patience, including myself. It is so hard to understand that things take time. But I think if you can accept that just mentally, before you even accept the idea, I think on the surface, conceptually, I think you can agree this makes a lot of sense. If you can agree it makes sense, then the question is, what's missing for you to get there in terms of acceptance? And I think the answer is patience.
If you're already feeling burnt out and you're in your 20s or 30s, then you need to watch this video. Hustle culture tells us that in order to be successful, in order to have security, you have to constantly be grinding, taking on side hustles, etc. But when we're trying to do all of the things and then also try and enjoy our families and friends, it's a pretty surefire way to end up feeling burnt out. Now, here's the thing. You can actually build wealth without having to hustle. In fact, there's a way to get rewarded just for being lazy, and that is through investing in the stock market. Now, I know a lot of us, when we hear investing in the stock market, we think of like the bros on Wall Street. We think it's a super risky, scary thing. But the lazy way of investing is way simpler, way less risky, and incredibly easy. So the traditional way of investing is thinking about buying low and selling high. And in order to figure out when those best times to do either of those action is, you have to be watching the stock market and seeing what's happening. But what if instead you could just buy the entire stock market? Then you would be getting all the really great performers and bad ones too. But with all of them, it's going to even out. That'd be pretty cool, right? Like, who needs to pay attention to individual stocks when you have all of them? You can do that through index funds. You can literally own the entire global stock market with one index fund. And the cool thing is that there's been a lot of studies that show that just buying and holding on to the entire stock market actually does significantly better than people who are trying to buy and sell and time the market. So again, you're getting rewarded for being lazy, just buying and holding everything. I want you to think about like buying an individual stock kind of like buying a single chocolate bar. But when you buy an index fund, you're buying like a bag of chocolates that has thousands of different chocolates inside of it. Easy, effective, and you can spend the rest of your time doing stuff you actually care about.
This may be controversial, and I know people are not going to like when I say that the anti-hustle culture is hella toxic because it's basically an excuse to be lazy. I don't know what happened, but somewhere in the gist of it, you fell into the trap of believing that hustle is bad. And really what hustle is, it means work. Like putting in the work to getting what you want. So think about how you go to the gym. Like you hustle in the gym if you have a certain goal or if you want to stay healthy. It's like if you just get in the gym to lollygag, that's not really going to get you results. Or maintain the results that you have now. Now, I know I've heard it before, like, okay, well, you are going to burn out. You're going to do this and that. And I've burnt out before. And the reason why I've burnt out is because of people pleasing and no boundaries. It had nothing to do with my work. It had everything to do with me saying yes to things that I didn't want to do, saying yes to people that I didn't want to associate myself with, and not having boundaries. Like, okay, look, you can't say yes to everything. Or prioritizing my health. Like, okay, if you're going to work, like you need to go out for a walk. You need to get to the gym. You need to eat better. And these boundaries, once I placed them, I got my joy back. But again, it had nothing to do with the work. And I feel like I see this like soft girl era and all of this stuff. Like I understand maybe you're tired of hustling and all, but you probably need to set systems in. Like why would you not want to make more money? Why would you not want more freedom? And with more freedom comes more discipline. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I've been talking to a few girls too, and they're like, yeah, this anti-hustle culture totally makes me feel like I'm hustling all the time, and I'm not, dude. I'm literally doing laundry right now, chilling for a little bit before I go to the gym. But I worked my butt off yesterday trying to finish my sales page and all, and it was perfect. Now I get to chill a little bit, do the laundry. So anyways, the whole entire point of this is anti-hustle culture. I think it's just making us lazy. TBH.
If you give a mouse a cookie to myself, I did it to myself, where the whole like anti-hustle culture thing came out and everyone was like, yeah, let's finally realize that just like live your life and we don't need to hustle. I never hustled in the first place. I was never a hustler. You had to push me very hard to get me to hustle, even a tenth of what people were hustling. But because of this new thing where people were like, let's give it up, soft living, I'm like, yeah, soft living. And I've taken it too far that now, before I'd be like, okay, come on, like you at least have to do it. Now I'm like, no, for soft living, like I don't have to do it. I'm just gonna, and now I just don't do anything. I took it a step too far. And so now do I need to watch those people that wake up at 4 a.m. to like get myself at least somewhat regular again? Because I literally, if you give a mouse a cookie, myself. Like, I don't know if that's a phrase, but that's what I did to myself. And I don't know if there's any turning back now.
Hustle culture versus anti-hustle culture. Let's chat about it. So just kind of like a little rundown. Hustle culture to me is like boss babe, boss mom, make the money, get that bread, like masculine energy. And anti-hustle culture is like attraction, feminine energy, like let leads come to you, sales just happen automatically, yada yada. And I do think that there's a time and place for both, but I do think that there's like a little war going on between the two, especially in the social selling industry, in network marketing, online business coaches, etc. So for the past 3 years, I've been in a network marketing company and I've like literally seen the bad parts of hustle culture. It's like sacrifice, do the thing, like be on team calls during bath time, like celebrating women for being on a team call like right after they give birth. And it's a lot. And I've also been in online business space where it's very feminine energy focused, where it's like you let sales come to you, you let, just attraction marketing, never doing reach outs, and both of them work. I think it really depends on like what season of life you're in and who you are as a person and what your personality is. Because honestly, I really don't think that the hustle go worked for me very well because I was stuck in a very toxic masculine energy where I was not treating people as people anymore. I was basically treating them as a number, and I wasn't tapping into my feminine energy of treating people like humans and attracting people and like really like in a high vibe state. Also, I was recovering from PTSD and I was healing a lot of trauma in my own mind and my personal life. So I think that it just didn't go with the season that I was in. And on the flip side, whenever I let go and I tapped more into my feminine energy and started to learn more about myself, that's when my sales increased. But now I'm in this season again where I do need to tap back into that masculine go, shake the bushes, like make it rain type of season. But I think now that I am finding the balance between the two, and I think that that's where the magic happens. So I want to know, are you team hustle or are you anti-hustle culture? Or are you kind of like me and agree that both have a time and a place depending on what season you're in and what your personality is?
Hustle culture is keeping us traumatized. #boss.
Yeah. Some might say, though, some of us ended up in hustle culture or girl bossing because we were already traumatized. I grew up gifted. I started reading at 3, tested into the specialized program since kindergarten, honors pretty much the entire way. The pressure never stopped and only built. My junior high school motto was, to whom much is given, much is required. And I've lived my whole life that way. There were a lot of things that happened. Like, for example, I didn't graduate college due to some family situations, but never took away the internal pressure I always felt that I needed to validate myself through accomplishments. So while being successful and reaching success, whatever that means, and if we're talking about the monetary things, there's nothing wrong with that. The problem is when it comes from a place of lack, a place of insecurity, a place of trying to prove yourself, a place of comparison, when working all the time and more. That's how I ended up going from 7-figure founder to now my soft girl era journey. It's not because I made a bunch of money on my first business, so now I have the time and space to like not care about work. That's another story for another day. Just because you make 7 figures don't mean you make 7 figures. It's because something didn't feel right, and it doesn't feel right. and having a baby and about to turn 40 and the pandemic and the state of the world and looking at what late stage capitalism has done to us, something doesn't feel right. So if you want to take your journey and figure out how to unfuck yourself, ungirl boss yourself, unhustle bro yourself, you're not alone. We're out here.
In 2024, we are no longer subscribing to hustle culture. I cannot tell you how many freaking years I have spent feeling like my only worth or value comes from being productive, or comes from accomplishing things, or comes from overcoming obstacles and struggles. It's the same reason that whenever anyone asks me, how are you? How are you doing? I say, good. I'm just busy. Like, in what year did I start associating busyness with being a good thing, with feeling stressed out all the time being a good thing, with always feeling like I'm playing catch up and I can't ever end any single day feeling fulfilled or satisfied with what I've done as a good thing? And I am just so sick of this narrative that you need to be productive. You need to put in your blood, sweat, and tears and burn the candle at both ends if you want to be happy. And recognizing all of this was a little bit of a mindfuck for me because I have so much resistance to doing different things, and the things that come easily to me, or the things that I enjoy or that I get fulfillment from, are the things that I've always looked down on because it's too easy. It shouldn't be that easy because everyone else is out there working their asses off, and I need to find something that is challenging and difficult for me to do in order to succeed or in order to be worthy. And I'm done feeling that way. In 2023, I literally fell out of love with the gym. Like, my fitness journey was just for no reason at all. And I'm a fitness coach, so I felt extremely guilty when that happened. I was like, this is not who I'm supposed to be. I am the disciplined person. I love working out, love eating well, and that is my whole identity, as my job is my identity. And I'm recognizing now that they're separate things, that I am a person aside from what I do, and that it's okay if I don't feel passionate about my health at the moment. And it was really hard coming to terms with this because I felt like a failure in a lot of ways, because it's the exact opposite of everything that society teaches us and wants us to believe. But I am now realizing that doing things that get me in my flow, that make me happy, make me comfortable, that are skills or talents that I actually have, make me so much happier when they don't come difficult to me, when it's easy, when it feels effortless, when it feels very aligned with myself. Those are the things that matter to me and that actually make me happy. And I'm like, why am I pushing so hard to be this different person when all that it does is make me feel unfulfilled?
I saw the best TikTok, or I don't know where it was, and it was explaining why everyone has anxiety now, because everyone seems to have anxiety now. And it was saying that we're going too fast. So anxiety is generally feeling scared or fear about the future. And we're going so fast that we're never processing where we're at in the moment that we are there. And therefore our energy is not in the present moment, it's thinking about the future. But because we haven't processed anything we're doing now, we're scared about what's about to happen. Because as you know, you can't really have a good understanding of where you're going until you know where you're at right in this moment. So the faster you go, the more anxious you will be. And what's interesting about this is that I have recently slowed down. And what that means is I'm not almost 5 minutes late for everything. I might do 1 or 2 things in a day. A lot of things don't get done, and I have to be okay with that. And the way the calmness has quieted the mind, and the way my body tries to fight it and question it, because we've been so programmed to be so productive, so hustle culture. Let me tell you something. A lot of us have been productive, but have actually been spinning in circles. So there is something to be said for the quiet, calm, slow moments, and there's something to be said for trying to cultivate more of those into life, because we will see, I believe, the anxiety might subside. We all have like 100 tabs open in our brain, and it doesn't need to be that way. We can all calm down. So that's my message for today. Go slow, baby, slow down, and get a bunch of stuff not done. Okay.
How has the grind life been treating you? Does it hurt to think about what you're trying to achieve might not be meant for you? I got 2 things for you today. 1, the law of least resistance, or the law of least effort. This is the spiritual purpose that says what is meant for you will come easily, will come with enjoyment, and you don't have to force it. It's like that idea of you're going to force and not have fun doing what you love. That's an answer in itself. And that's something to reconsider. An example is like, oh, I've been trying to grind on TikTok and grind on social media, but I'm not even having fun with it anymore. Ding, ding, ding. Like, I have different avenues to put my time and energy, and that might serve me better. And with that brings me to number 2, that kind of overlap, but that one girl who talked about redefining the present moment, where we are standing still in time, being grateful for what's in front of us, and what our desires do come to us. I don't chase time, I attract time. Time comes to me. And with that, I just constantly say whatever's meant for me is coming towards me. Like, the universe is always working out in my favor. And so I'm going to enjoy and like pushing like the goals that I could do with intention, like showing up for each speech session, showing up for creating content that I am aligned with happiness and with what I want to do. I know sometimes like paperwork is not all butterflies and rainbows. With this though, we are taking action while still being present and allowing that outcome to come our way. So these are 2 things I'm going to practice as I continue to grow the business that I want and just thrive in this life.
So for anyone that knows me, I'm always criticizing corporate and capitalism. But having said that, how about we talk about some solutions instead of me always complaining? So in order to get out of this corporate system, especially with so many tech companies and, well, let me elaborate. What I mean by corporate and capitalism, when I refer to those, I'm mostly specifying and referring to how a lot of companies don't refer to people as people. Many corporations prioritize greed to the extent of where they underpay workers, they subject them to terrible conditions, and they throw them under the bus, you know, whenever they need to. They do what's best for themselves, while the higher-ups bring in millions and billions of dollars while barely giving us anything. It's all about greed, 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 greed. Plus, we can't forget about the toxic work culture that unfortunately many companies have. Office politics, micromanagement, disrespect, abuse, not valuing each other like human beings, drama, poor leadership, people wanting to do their own things, no one wanting to work together as a team, unrealistic expectations. And don't get me started on the lack of personal fulfillment. You know, a lot of people, they find themselves just working mindless jobs, same routine every single day, with zero respect for their voices, or not even being able to give their opinion on projects, their impacts, creativity, new ideas. It's that a lack of work-life balance. Many companies expecting their workers to work so much more than a typical 8 to 5 lifestyle. You know, they're expected to always put work first, no matter what, no matter whether it's your family, your wife, or your spouse, your children, your friends, your social life that you need to avoid burnout. They don't care about that. You know, it's always work, 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 work first. And let's not forget about the so-called values and false promises that many companies make. You know, the whole preaching diversity thing and, oh yeah, we care about people's mental health and well-being. No, they don't. They just say that so they don't get sued. I can say so many more things, but those are some examples of why, in general, work culture, corporate culture, and capitalism suck. And in my opinion, that's not a life. So having said that, what do you think is the solution to breaking out of this system? On both an individual basis and together as a society, what do you think needs to be done? You know, what can we do as individuals, and what kind of changes does society need to do? I mean, obviously, I know overall society has to wake up and be like, hey, we can't do that anymore. And that's an entirely different conversation. But so what can we do as individuals to break out of that cycle? How can we be seen as more human? How could we have better work-life balance? How can we actually enjoy what we're doing and get paid for it? Basically, how do we just make work a happier place for us to be in? Share your thoughts.
The more I heal, the less ambitious I am.
What that creator said, that is exactly how I have been feeling lately. I went through this like really intense postpartum after I gave birth to my son, and it took a really long time to heal from it, and I tried to go back to my normal life after that, as normal as life can be once you become a mother. But I just wasn't happy, and I was trying to figure out what's wrong. So about 6 months ago, I went on this healing journey. I got a naturopathic doctor. I got a nutritionist. I started focusing on yoga, meditation, journaling a lot more than I used to, just calming myself down, being more present, rooting myself in what matters in my surroundings. And I feel better. I can tell things are improving. And then the other thing that's happening is that I don't feel as ambitious as I used to. Like, there was a point in my life where all I wanted to do was work, and build my business and make it bigger and bigger. And now I'm not that person anymore. Like, and it's so strange, but it's so true. Like, I feel so happy in myself and in my body and in who I am in this moment that it is making me a lot less ambitious. And it's just an interesting place to be.
I appreciate you guys watching the video today. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.